Amanda, how was it growing up? Did you grow up here in the Springs? And because you went to culinary school, was there any initial spark for cooking or food that basically said, hey, this is what you want to do?
Yeah. Well, I did grow up in Colorado Springs. I was born and raised here. Lived here my whole life. I won't tell you how many years that is. And I've raised a family here. Before going to culinary school, I was a wife and mother, and I had always enjoyed entertaining, having a themed dinner or a matching dessert to go, with whatever season and things like that. And so I
You were one of those.
one of those, yes, one of those. I mean, even little things like the Olympics, we would have an opening ceremony dinner that the food featured from whatever country it was in, and so I decided to go to culinary school, and that kind of it sparked my love for catering, and that morphed into where I am now.
Wow. It sounds like even with the culinary, seem to be a woman of wanting experiences and to share experiences with others. Am I correct?
You are. I mean, sometimes it can be a bit much because I like to also tell, not just, I like to not just show it, but to tell about it. And sometimes I get in the weeds about, making sure that it's exactly what, it's supposed to, exactly the right ingredients and not substituting and things like that. And sometimes it can be a bit much, but I do love the experience of things and sharing that with people so that other people can enjoy.
Right. I hear you. I get down into the weeds of things too. And sometimes it's like, okay, it's too much detail. But
Mhm.
what comes across so authentically is your passion and your enthusiasm for what you do and what you have going on. And that is just infectious. So anybody, as we go through and talk about some things, that is something I know that they're going to see, probably both of us.
I hope so.
So you launched, after culinary school, you launched a successful catering business. I think it was back in 2018. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I
So what,
graduated and started. I knew I couldn't work in restaurant. I could work in restaurants. That was what I originally wanted to do. But I had a family at home, and when I was at the restaurants, I was thinking about my family. And when I was with my family, I was thinking about work, like most of us do. But I started to think of what can I do that allows more flexibility and more control over my schedule, and it was catering.
so are you still doing the catering part or are you now just the tea room?
I do. I do still do catering. In the tea room we do offer afternoon tea catering. So if somebody wanted to have a party, but they don't want to have it here, maybe it's a party that's bigger than what I can host, or they only want something in particular, not the full afternoon tea experience, then I can do the catering. I also do grazing boards, where I can put together a big like a charcuterie table, or I can do all kinds of catering, and I still do.
Right. And so you have the catering business separate from Tea and Tidbits, or are they now intertwined?
They're intertwined.
Okay. So if somebody wants catering, they just come through you through Tea and Tidbits, and then you can talk about that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now with the catering, when you were catering, was there a specific style before you opened Tea and Tidbits, or was it just whatever anybody was requesting?
It started as meal prep and then kind of morphed into to other things, simpler things. I didn't work out of a completely full kitchen, and I know my capabilities. I'm not somebody that can cater steaks or a plated meal for a lot of people. I'm usually a one person band, so it's always been smaller, and it because I like smaller things. I did start doing a lot of afternoon tea catering, and that's kind of how it morphed into where I am now.
Gotcha. I was going to ask you what made you take the leap from catering to afternoon tea, but not only that, and you just let us know that, but what specifically made you say, I need to open up my own tea room and make it a community thing?
Well, like I said, I was doing a lot of afternoon tea catering, and I was working with one person in particular. I was doing a lot of their work for them. They had hired me to do a lot of their catering, and they wanted to kind of get away from doing that. But I saw that there was a demand for afternoon tea. It's such a fun experience. It's a novel idea for a lot of people, and there are other tea rooms in town, wonderful tea rooms in town. But we're a big town. There's a lot of room for afternoon tea, and I just was very passively looking for a brick and mortar, and my location it opened up and the stars kind of aligned, and I was able to get in here and hit the ground running, and that's how I ended up here opening Tea and Tidbits. It was the right time.
Right. And what year was that again?
2024. So I've been open here for about a year and a half.
I honestly, I remember as I was looking for businesses and seeing what's going on around town for the Colorado Springs Town Tidings, I remember you announcing, and somehow you got on my radar. And I remember when it was just an empty space, and then when you started to put the things on the walls and all that, and I was excited for that. But we didn't connect at that time. But I saw your evolution, and it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. And there are still days when I walk in and I'm like awestruck with what we've created here. And I had wonderful support and fantastic family that helped make this vision come true. But yeah, I'm still, I sit in this tea room in this beautiful space, and I'm still in awe of how far it's come.
Yes, and you did a beautiful job just on the vibe and the feeling. So kudos.